Welcome to MidField SportsCast.
And our 6th episode of the Divided Friendship podcast.
Yeah.
This episode, once again, like we said last time, we want to have all the members of the team here, but Quentin not able to be here tonight, but we are joined by Luke.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, it's me, it's Dawson, it's Luke. We're going to jump right into this one. Probably going to be a little bit of a shorter episode today. Not too many topics, but we're just going to go over some stuff. All right, starting out, we have our Week 1 predictions recap. All right, like I said, we are reviewing Week 1 and our predictions that we had.
All right. One of our games was Florida taking on the number 14 Utah Utes. I had Utah 27-14. I was close on Utah's points. Had a big play on the first play of the game. They did what I expected them to do. I didn't expect Florida to not really get blown out, but I didn't expect them to be close in the game. That's all I have for that one. Luke had Utah 35-21.
So, I didn't think this was necessarily going to be a blowout, but I didn't think it was going to be close. So, at the time, we didn't know. I don't think we knew that Utah's quarterback was going to be out. We did not know at the time. So, had I known that, score might have been a little closer, but in the end, Utah really showed up. Despite having a backup QB in, on the first play of the game, he tore up the Gators' defense. An excellent first play from the line of scrimmage, and a great performance from Utah. That's all I got for that one.
All right. And Maddox had Utah 31-21, so we all got the game right.
And this one I had it a little bit closer than it actually was. Ain't got much to say. Obviously, we didn't know that Cam Rising was not going to suit up for this game, but didn't play much of a factor in this one. Utah dominated all around. Florida was disappointing once again. Graham Mertz didn't look good at all. That's all I got to say.
I don't think I said the final score of the game. It was 24-11 Utah. Next, on to Colorado versus number 17 TCU. I had TCU 24-13. Obviously, underestimated the Colorado offense just a bit, and the TCU offense.
Yeah.
But
or we overestimated their defenses.
Or a little bit of both. Yeah. Colorado. Shedeur Sanders, obviously a great performance from him. Week 1, Travis Hunter, both sides of the ball, got it done. It was a really entertaining game. Very enjoyable from a Michigan fan or just a fan that's not Colorado or TCU to watch. It was exciting the whole way through, kept it close all game. And yeah, that's all I have on that one. Luke had TCU 24-21.
I knew this was going to be close. I knew that both teams had a good shot at winning. But in the end, Colorado came away with this win, and it's one of the biggest stories in college football, and honestly, it's one of the biggest stories in sports at the moment. Colorado, 45-42 win over TCU. Shedeur Sanders, an incredible performance. 38 for 47, 510 yards through the air, and 4 touchdowns. And then you got Travis Hunter playing on both sides of the ball, playing however many snaps it was, a whole bunch.
It was like 129 or
something. He was incredible. This entire Colorado offense was incredible. The defenses, not so much for either team. 45-42, that's a high-scoring game. But Colorado was able to come away with a shocking win and do something that I thought they couldn't do. That's all I got for that one.
All right. Mad Pat had TCU 28-17.
Obviously, had a lot of too low of a score. All 3 of us here underestimated Dion and his team, like a lot of people across the country did. We said a long time ago that we thought they could win 4 to 5 games, but we did not think they were a bowl team. Me and Philly both agreed on that. I don't remember Luke's take on it, but And as I stand right here, I think Colorado could win 7 to 8 games this season after that performance. Maybe it was just the first game and the hype around it, but next week, they travel to or they don't travel, they stay home to play the Nebraska Cornhuskers. I think they blow them out. Colorado played great in that game. Defensively, they got to fix some stuff. Travis Hunter, like they said, ain't got much more to say. So,
All right. I also don't think I said the final score of that one, but it was Colorado 45-42. This one we had number 10 Washington at home against Boise State. Washington came out on top 56-19. I had Washington winning 38-24, a lot closer than it actually was. I thought really highly of Boise State. I thought they were a very solid group of 5 team. I thought maybe one of the best group of 5 teams, if not the best group of 5 team. Michael Penix, 450 yards, 5 touchdowns. That's really impressive. I don't care who it's against, and it's against Boise State, and they're not bad. Rome Odunze, 7 receptions, 132 yards, and 1 touchdown. Also, a very good performance from a top wide receiver prospect in this year's upcoming draft. Luke had Washington 42-20.
I predicted a blowout, and a blowout is exactly what it was. I didn't think it would be this bad. I mean, Boise State, recently, they've been one of the best group of 5 teams in the college football landscape. Boise State has potential. They can go to a Power 5 conference, I think, and not be horrible. I mean, they're not going to succeed, but they're not going to be horrible. Michael Penix Jr.
Okay.
I said Penix.
Okay, buddy.
Wait, is it
You're
Penix?
pushing it.
Wait, is it Penix?
You're pushing it.
Is it Penix?
It's Penix.
Oh, okay.
You're pushing
Cut
the
that out.
limits
Cut
there,
that.
buddy.
Cut that.
You are pushing
that.
your limits right
Cut
there.
that. Cut that. Cut that. Cut that.
No. Oh, shoot. Penix, Luke.
Okay. Maddox, please cut that.
Oh, my.
Please cut that, bro.
No, so funny.
It's a little scary right there. All right, go over.
Okay. Michael Penix Jr. just said it, so I mean, I don't really got to go into depth about it. He just go back and listen to what he said. That's basically all I have to say. A great performance by Washington. In this performance, I think that they can contend. They can contend possibly for a playoff spot. That's all my takes on that one.
All right, and Mad Pat had Washington 42-38.
obviously here, I expected Boise State to come out a little bit hot, shock some fans, have a close game with Washington. I also said it was going to be a Michael Penix Jr. masterclass, and it was. He performed great, had a great game. Like always, Washington offense. Like recently, the Washington offense looked good in the passing game. Defense actually played better than I expected. At least I expected them to give up 38 points. Boise State disappointed me in this game. I'm not going to lie, I was a little close to saying a Boise State upset. I wanted those points for this competition we're having in these. I wanted that upset points, but I stuck with my gut. I went with Washington. It was the right pick for the winner, but a little bit too close for the score. That's all I got.
All right. I'll go over Quinn's picks at the end. Obviously, we won't have his opinion on it, but this one, College Game Day was here. Number 21, North Carolina versus South Carolina. I had South Carolina 30-28. Obviously, I was a little bit wrong here, as the final score was 31-17, I do believe. Yeah, 31-17. I like Spencer Rattler as a quarterback, but there's not really much you can do whenever you get sacked 9 times in a game and have -2 rushing yards as a team.
Last season, I remember your Spencer Rattler hype was almost close to your Bo Nix hype this year. Last year, Spencer Rattler was your Bo Nix of this year. I believe you believe more in Bo than you did believe in Spencer, but last year that was your dark horse, one of your dark horse players of the season. You talked a lot about him, not on a podcast. Obviously, we weren't filming back then, but yeah,
Bo's not a dark horse. Bo's the favorite. Spencer Rattler, 353 passing yards. That's not bad statistics, but obviously 9 sacks. You're not going to win very many games giving up that many. Drake May obviously showed flashes of why he is a top quarterback prospect, but then again also showed where he can improve at. He had 2 touchdowns, 2 interceptions, 270 yards. Got to limit the turnovers. British Brooks, 15 carries, 103 yards for the Tar Heels. Great opening performance from North Carolina. On to Luke. He had South Carolina 35-28.
I thought South Carolina was going to come away with this win here against North Carolina. I thought South Carolina was going to come away with the win over North Carolina, and it looked like South Carolina had a good chance going into halftime. If I can remember right, it was a tight game at halftime. And then in the second half, North Carolina pulled away. So North Carolina just had a great second half. But on to the players. Drake May, he is one of the top quarterbacks in college football, in my opinion. But that wasn't a great performance from him. If they want to see better improvements, if they want to see better games from North Carolina, they're going to have to fix the performance of Drake May. 24 for 32, 269 passing yards, 2 touchdowns, and 2 picks. Spencer Rattler on the side of South Carolina, 30 for 39, 353 yards, but no touchdowns, no interceptions. It seems that passing game for Spencer Rattler and South Carolina looked good, but they just couldn't get into the end zone with it. Which is why North Carolina was able to pull away with this. I thought South Carolina was the better team going into this game. Turns out North Carolina showed who they were. They came to play, and they played. There was some room for improvement, but there was some great signs. There are some great things to look forward to for the Tar Heels.
All right, MedPat had South Carolina 38-37.
I had a close game here. We all three had South Carolina with the upset. We wanted those upset points. We believed in Spencer Rattler. Spencer Rattler not really playing bad, but getting sacked 9 times is not going to help you, like we've already said so far. Drake May had a little rocky game to start the year, but, my pick was wrong. I believe too much into South Carolina. That line is going to hold them back. And another SEC team gets beat by what some people would say is a lesser program overall. That's all I got to say.
All right. On to the last game on this list. We had what was supposed to be the best game of the week. Number 5, LSU versus number 8, Florida State. This one was a final score of 42-20, I'm pretty sure. Keon Coleman, obviously the highlight of that game for the Seminoles and of the game overall. Great showing by Florida State. They looked like they were one of the better teams in college football, if not top 3. Jaden Daniels and the LSU offense has some room to improve. He had 346 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 interception. I'm saying a lot. It was 45-24 is the final.
Dope.
Travis, 23 for 31, 342 yards, 4 touchdowns, 1 pick, 94 QBR. Almost at 95, it was 94.7. Trey Benson, 47 rushing yards. Keon Coleman, 9 catches, 122 yards, 3 touchdowns. 33% of the time, he caught the ball. Math. That is good math. Right on the spot. 33% of the time he caught the ball, it was a touchdown. Johnny Wilson, 7 receptions, 104 yards. Obviously, Jaheim Bell had that big breakaway touchdown that kind of sealed the game. That's all I have to say about this. LSU, overrated, like I've said. Luke had Luke had LSU 31-28 in double overtime.
This season I've been a little bit crazy on overtime games, but I really think that these teams, they should have gone into overtime. LSU really underperformed today. Or they're in their game, you know what I mean? A loss 45-24 to Florida State. I thought that LSU was gonna be able to come out in a close one.
Overrated.
Shut up.
Overrated. Okay, I'm done.
Okay. So LSU and Florida State, it was a great game going into halftime, just like the North Carolina game. But then going into the second half, in the second half, the team that was just overall better pulled away, and that was Florida State. I thought LSU, a lot of people said that LSU's year last year was a very big overperformance, and I wasn't thinking too highly on that. I thought that LSU was a great team and could contend for a playoff spot. If they want to contend for a playoff spot, they are going to have a much better performance in most of their other games than this. Through the air, Jane Daniels, turning it over only once, still it's a turnover though. So they got to limit that down. They got to get that down. But Florida State through the air, great game from Jordan Travis. Dawson already explained the stats, so I don't think I need to. After Florida State's performance tonight, I think that they could contend for a playoff spot.
Why you keep saying tonight?
Okay.
It's okay.
You know what I mean.
It's okay.
That's all.
In a minute. Mad Pat, Florida State, 28-24.
What was the final score here again? It was a blowout, wasn't it? We watched it live.
45-24.
Okay. Watching this one live with Philly, at the time, I did believe the game was going to be closer than it actually was. I had Florida State winning. I was correct on that. Got my point for that in this competition. But I did get the score wrong, obviously. Florida State looked very impressed me. LSU, like Philly said, weeks that he believed LSU was overrated, and he was correct. LSU's overrated. Florida State, underrated. They're going to have a great year this year. Most people would say the best team in the ACC after Clemson got an absolute butt-cheek whooping, and that will do it with my opinion here on that game.
I mean, like he said, I did think they're overrated, and they may be, but it's also probably just one game in, so kind of too early to, tell if they're truly overrated. But we will see as the season progresses with that. All right, with that, we will go into discussion about our thoughts on Coach Prime in Colorado. Luke, you can kick us off.
So, I wasn't going into the season. There was so much hype around Deion Sanders, former head coach of Jackson State, came over to Colorado, brought a lot of players with him, and he got a whole bunch of transfers, but a whole bunch of players transferred out. So, there was all these new guys coming in.
He sent him out. He told him to get out because he was bringing in his Louis.
Okay. Well, we had all these old guys from Colorado leaving to start the new generation of Colorado football. Now, to start the season, I wasn't buying the whole Colorado with Coach Sanders is going to be great. I didn't think that a 1-11 team going into the season, and I just didn't believe it. I don't think that just Deion Sanders going to Colorado can change a 1-11 team. Now, I thought that they were going to make they were going to have an overall better season than last year. That wouldn't be hard to be a better team than last year. They've played one game and they already have tied their record from last year, or wins from last year. So, this could just be, first game. There was so much hype. I'm wondering if they can do what they did to TCU to these teams. I don't think they will be able to do it, but I think that Colorado in this season will finish with a record of 10-2.
Oh my gosh!
After that win over TCU, I think that I was sleeping on Deion Sanders, and I think what he's doing to this program is amazing.
Well,
so that's.
I think everyone was sleeping on Deion Sanders, but I still don't think he will have this team that good by this early. Obviously, we saw the potential that their team has. We saw the potential of Shadur Sanders and Travis Hunter, and obviously the true freshman running back. His name's Edwards. I don't remember his first name, but Dylan Edwards. They all showed great performances. The defense still has room to improve, but again, it's Pac-12, so you just have to have a high-powered offense and have to be able to put up points against the other high-powered offenses. So I'm probably taken back that they won't make a bowl game. They proved me wrong. They proved Maddox wrong. I'm sure he thinks that way too. But I probably could see a 7-5, 8-4 season now. I still expect them to struggle with the better Pac-12 teams like Oregon and Washington and USC, maybe even Utah. But we'll just have to see what happens as the season goes on. Maddox, what do you think?
I talked a little bit about them earlier and a little bit about my thoughts, but I obviously doubted them. I didn't think they were going to make a bowl game. As of right now, I sit here and I would put money on Colorado making a bowl game. Is it going to be a New Year's Six bowl game? In my personal opinion, I don't believe that much in them, but I think a 7-5, 8-4, maybe 9-3. I don't see it, but it would surprise me. But I mean, so did this week 1 matchup. Like I said, this week 1 matchup did surprise me, but sitting with that schedule they have, like I've seen it, maybe one of the hardest schedules I've personally looked at. Having to go against USC, Oregon, TCU to start the year, and I know I'm blanking on a few other teams they're playing. Pac-12 very even right now, all undefeated, 13-0. Pac-12 in their last year, looking great so far, and I think that schedule's just a gauntlet, and I don't see them getting out of there with better than a 8-5 record. 8-4, sorry.
All right, we'll talk about some of the bigger games of Week 1, some of the bigger games, some surprises, some blowouts, whatever. But obviously, we can't talk about every game. There's way too many.
We'll just go around and not more of a turn by turn, but just a conversation type of thing. And like right now, I'm gonna do what Philly usually does. If you made it this far in the video, thank you for watching. We really appreciate you. Drop a like on the podcast episode. Hit the subscribe button. Go follow all our socials at MidField_SportsCast. Like I said, we appreciate you. Thank you.
All right. I want to talk about the Oregon Ducks. I know they played Portland State and all, but 81-7. Yeah. 81-7. Their running back had 4 touches for 119 yards. Oklahoma, 73-0 victory over Arkansas State.
Whoa.
They almost didn't have an incompletion.
Hold
They were
on.
very accurate in everything.
Hey, excuse me.
What?
Luke wants to talk.
Okay.
I have one thing to say about the Oregon game. The highlight of the game was not Oregon's offense, was not Oregon's defense. It was Puddles, the Duck, doing 546. I mean, you've got to be kidding! In that mascot costume, 546 push-ups. Okay, we're getting off track. That's all I gotta say about that game.
Obviously, one of the bigger upsets of the week, Texas State. How about them going on the road?
Rico knows.
Against Baylor, Rico does know. Going on the road against Baylor, 42-31 victory. Obviously, they lost their starter. He'll be out for a couple weeks. Supposed to be out for a couple weeks. They lost him in the middle of the game, but, I mean, they were favorites to win that one obviously, against Texas State. And then TJ Finley and the Bobcats come out and show up and take down the Baylor Bears.
If you know who we were referencing just a second ago, Rico Knows is a TikToker who talks about college football, and his specialty is the transfer portal. And he talked a lot about Texas State, said they had a really good, impactful transfer portal class. And like you can see, they did an upset here in week 1. Great play by TJ Finley all around. He might have finally just found his spot where he will succeed and maybe show some NFL scouts what he can do. With that build, with that frame, it's something you might not ever see in college football. 6'7" quarterback is crazy.
And you talking about great quarterback performances, that puts me onto the Oregon State game where DJ Uiagalelei showed some flashes of what he has had in his bag the whole time. It's just, I don't think Dabo Sweeney had the system to fully unlock his potential, but obviously he goes to an air raid offense with Oregon State where they just throw the ball a lot. 239 passing yards, 3 passing touchdowns. The running back even had 150 rushing yards. Very good performance from the Ducks. 42-17 win. Not to mention, DJ Uiagalelei also had 2 rushing touchdowns. So, there's that. Then, of course, I'm sure everyone has something to say about this one. The Duke and Clemson game. Luke has something he already wants to say.
Let me just say this. What a performance by Duke. I mean, I was watching this game from the second time. I remember I started watching in my bed from the second time that Clemson fumbled on the goal line. And I was just laying in bed. I was like, oh, Duke has a little lead over Clemson. And then there was a big run play, got Clemson down to the goal line. Oh, that lead isn't going to last. They fumble the ball on the goal line. Duke gets it back. Great return. And that's not even... There's so much more about this game.
Fun fact about that. Clemson did not punt or score one time in the second half.
That's absolutely crazy. Speaking of Clemson's offense, Cade Klubnik. What a letdown from Cade Klubnik. I bet Clemson fans really want DJ whatever his
Uiagalelei.
Yeah, that. They might want him back because Cade Klubnik, 27 for 43, 209 yards, a touchdown, and a pick.
I will say, though, that one interception he had, it was right in his running back's hands, and he just dropped it.
And overall, I did not like the play calling I saw from Clemson.
I didn't like very much anything from Clemson.
I mean, they came out there. The best thing they ran was a 2-back set, and that is not Clemson football. Riley coming in there as the offensive coordinator, you would expect more of the ball being thrown around, more high-powered offense, more points, but obviously 7 points total. That's not a good debut for him in his Clemson Tiger debut. Disappointing for them, and yeah, that's what I got.
Now, the last game I want to touch on a little bit before we go on to our Week 2 predictions. Texas Tech, Wyoming.
Oh, yeah.
I had Texas Tech as my dark horse team of this year. Oh, bubbles. I had Texas Tech as my dark horse team of this year. And then they go on the road to Wyoming. Oh my, this is madness. They go on the road to Wyoming and lose in overtime. Tyler Shug, 340
What?
yards.
Tyler, what?
Shug.
That's his name?
Show, I don't know.
That is crazy. I'm going to talk about another game after.
All right, that's cool. 338 passing yards, 3 touchdowns, 1 pick. But Obviously, not enough to beat the great Wyoming Cowboys, I think. Maybe? I don't know.
Yeah.
All right, Maddox, what's the game you want to touch on a little?
I'm going to go out here to a game we have not talked about. Let me find them here. They are ranked in the top 25.
Are they now?
It's a team. Obviously, I was way higher on than anybody else here sitting at this podcast.
Are you want to talk about Oklahoma State? Is that where we're headed?
My mom? Oh, I told her to chill and wait, but it's whatever.
Now you're missing up my curtains.
Kansas State here.
Oh, okay.
45-0 beatdown of Southeastern Missouri. I had them sneaking at the number 4 spot in my playoffs with a TCU type of pick here. They win 45-0. Let's go here to the stats. Quickly, I'm going to go through this. Will Howard, 18 completions, 297 yards, 2 touchdowns, and an interception. On the ground, Giddens, 15 carries, 128 yards. Receiving, you have Garcia with 119 receiving yards and a touchdown on only 5 receptions. They got to limit the passing yards. They give up 213 to Laurent. Not too many, but, I mean, I could see. I would like that to be down for my upset team of the year, my dark horse team, but 45-0 blowout. That's all I got to say. Moving on to our week 2 predictions here. Quickly going through this. We start. Right. You got it.
I'll take it away from here. Okay, so we're going to start off with not the most exciting games of the week, but we'll go Oklahoma State versus Arizona State. Pick this one. Both teams are kind of intriguing. Arizona State, true freshman quarterback Jaden Rashada under center. Oklahoma State, obviously, one of Maddox's teams that he likes out of the Big 12. I think it'll be a good game. I'm going to take Arizona State 24-10. No, scratch that. 24-20. Yep. Luke, what do you got?
Arizona State, Oklahoma State. I think, like Dawson said, these teams are two intriguing teams. They're exciting teams, underrated teams even. Now Arizona State, maybe not as much as Oklahoma State, but still, they're both very underrated and are very exciting and intriguing. So that means this should be a very exciting game. Should be, I say, because I don't think it will be. I think that Oklahoma State is going to win 17-0.
Crazy. All right, Maddox, your thoughts?
Very surprising pick here by Philly, in my opinion, because Oklahoma State was his pick to be the possible. No, that's not true at all. Oklahoma State was my pick to be the possible. Forget what I just said. Oklahoma State was my pick to be the possible TCU of this year. That was before I put Kansas State in the playoffs. Obviously, Kansas State now, in my opinion. Kind of changed that up a little bit.
A little switcheroo.
I'm going against Oklahoma State here. Actually, I'm going with Oklahoma State here. I heard it. I'm going with Oklahoma State here. I had them. It's fine. I'll just keep doing this. I had them in one of our record predictions going 10-2. I think they won again here. They won week 1, right? I ain't tripping.
Yeah, they're both 1-0.
Okay. I got Oklahoma State beating out Jaden Rashada and Arizona State. I'm going to go 38-28. Okay, moving on back to week 2 predictions. What game we got next, Philly?
Heck. We got.
Let's go to the Notre Dame NC State.
Yeah, that's where we are headed. Notre Dame NC State. I'm taking the Fighting Irish in this one. 34-23. Nope. 34-20.
I'm gonna jump Luke here. I'm gonna go with the Irish. I believe in the Irish to start the year until week 4 when they get beat by the Buckeyes. So far, Sam Hartman
Very
played
impressive.
very well. I think only 6 incompletions on the year, maybe 7. I looked at it earlier or last night. I think they win here on the road. 30. I'm gonna go 34, just like Philly. 34-17.
All right, Luke. Also, we're gonna skip the Michigan and Ohio State part this time. It's a little lengthy.
I think that Notre Dame is going to get put on upset watch in this one. I think going into the half, Notre Dame is going to trail by 14 points to the Wolfpack. But I think in the second half, Notre Dame is going to be able to put up some points on the board. I think their defense is going to be lights out in the second half against NC State. And I think that they can get a win 38-28.
All right, next game we have number 23 Texas A&M against Miami. Miami had a good performance.
Yes. Yeah.
Miami had a very good performance week 1. Showed they were the real Miami. Texas A&M, though, also had a solid performance. I like their offense. I like the firepower on it. So I'm going to take the Aggies. We are going to go this one. 27-24 final score.
All right. In my pick for this one, I'm going to go with the Miami Hurricanes.
No, you're not.
Shut up. I'm going to go with the Miami Hurricanes over Texas A&M. I think that Miami, after proving that they were the real Miami, are going to come out and win over over Texas A&M and win with the final score of 24-8.
To 8.
They're going to go for a 2-point conversion late in the game, and they're going to get it.
8's a little low. Whatever.
Okay.
Whatever.
I'm going with Texas A&M Aggies. Here I'm going 17-14. Low scoring game. A&M limits the amount of points for Miami. I think turnovers is the point of this game, and A&M ends up winning the turnover battle and wins the game.
I've noticed we're a little split this week on our picks.
We are. Not that many definite picks. Week 1's always a little cupcakey.
All right, next game. We got Ole Miss, Tulane. I'm actually going to pick a little surprising thing right here. I'm going to take Ole Miss by kind of a lot of points. We're going to go Ole Miss 35, Tulane 17. I don't think it'll be very close. Tulane, they played South Alabama, which they're not a bad team, but I don't think they're a very good team. So, give me the Rebels.
As you saw, or as some of you may have saw in one of our posts on the Instagram, which, by the way, you guys should go check out, MidField_SportsCast. On the Instagram, we posted our hot takes, and I said that Ole Miss and Vanderbilt are going to make a run for the SEC title. I think that Ole Miss is going to beat the defending Cotton Bowl champions, and they're not going to win it by a whole lot, but it's not going to be close. I think final score 25-17.
He's getting some strange scores going.
Your
I like
numbers,
it,
Your numbers are coming out of nowhere. All right, I'm going with Ole Miss here. I like Tulane. I like the story they had last year, beating USC. It was a great game to watch. But I have Ole Miss coming off a great game last week. I have them winning. They'll go 30. Actually, I'm going to go 42.
Ooh, a lot of
28.
points.
42-28.
All right. Final game of this week that we're predicting. We got number 11 Texas this year on the road.
I just forwarded on the
Number 11 Texas this year on the road against number 4 Alabama Crimson Tide. This should be a very good game. It was a good game last year. I still think Texas would have won that had Quinn Ewers not been hurt. But this year, it's going to be different. We're going to take the Texas Longhorns by a score of 31. or 34-31. I said it backwards, but it'll be a very entertaining game all the way down to the last whistle.
Obviously, the game of the week.
I just want to say this. For Alabama, I think, in my personal opinion, this is going to be the worst, if not one of the worst years in the Nick Saban era. Which means, I'm still going to have them finish ranked, but I'm not saying they're not going to finish ranked. But I'm saying this is going to be one of the worst years in the Nick Saban era. That being said, I think the Texas Longhorns are going to come away with the win here, 48-45 over the Alabama Crimson Tide. This is going to be very exciting to watch, and I'm excited to watch it.
Okay. Are you now? All right, Matt Pat.
I'm a little split here. I don't want to be like we were last week with the South Carolina, North Carolina pick. But I really want to see Alabama lose. It's at Alabama. I have the Alabama Crimson Tide winning this one. I want these points. If I look back on this and I'm wrong, I'm going to be very happy. But I have the Alabama Crimson Tide winning. Final score, 27-24. Winning that game with possibly a field goal deciding. Obviously a field goal deciding, but I have a game-winning drive, taking it down the field. Jalen Milroe showing he can lead this team to a fairly good record. I think down the road, though, they'll have some slip-ups. But I think right here, Alabama, I think they'll win it, but I really hope they don't.
All right, and that'll do it for episode 6. We appreciate you guys. We appreciate all the support. We love all the support. Thanks for tuning in, and we'll catch you on the next one.
Let me say one thing.
Are you serious?
Before we leave.
I just did my whole outro.
Okay, hold on. Before we leave, special thanks to Jordan.
All right. Special thanks to Jordan. Thanks for listening. We will catch you on the next one.
Adios.